Helen, Sergey, Nikita, Christina, Yulia. You're in a great place. You're in a great place. You will achieve your purposes and you'll probably find new friends. Everybody knows Toastmasters. Christina went to Altai, for God's sake. High in mountains, found a hermit there. And he's like, Toastmasters. People know that even in Altai. Everybody knows about Toastmasters. We have meetings and we have topics of our meetings. Not just a regular meeting where you have people delivering speeches, but we have some overarching topic. And today's topic is friends and friendship. I'm very interested in friendship and in friends. Friends help you out, make you feel good about yourself. The only problem, I don't have friends for some reason. And I decided I wanted to learn from the participants today, what they thought about friendship. And the first participant today is Timur Brown, who will be delivering his joke today. And I asked Timur, what do you think about friendship? Timur didn't want to be friends with me, so he ignored me. Please welcome Timur with his joke.
Okay, I try.
Welcome.
I tell you a story about from my life, from my childhood. When I was 16, my best friend was my cousin, my brother Mikhail, and Mikhail lived in the village, and every summer I came to him. At the time when our classmates studied mathematics, I and my brother, we started to go to disco, drinking alcohol, and my brother's mom, she every time she waited us and couldn't sleep until we returned from the disco. And imagine the situation. My brother and I, we came back to home at night, and my aunt interrogated us. Okay, Timur, where were you? We were on the disco, my aunt. Okay. Did you drink alcohol? No, aunt. No, I am sober. Okay. Mikhail, look at my eyes. Did you drink alcohol? No, Mom. Why are you lying to me? I see that you are drunk. But Mom, stop. Look at your brother. He never drinks. Yes? Yes. I never drinks. Can I go to sleep? Of course. Good boy. Mikhail, tomorrow I will tell your father everything. But Mom, in this moment my brother looked at me very terribly, and but he never told my aunt that I am drunk, also drunk. Thank you. Did you like Timur's joke?
Well, was it your first time on stage?
Yes.
Hey, good job. I asked the second participant today, the timer. Ruslan, what do you think about friends? Well, Timur at least came to the meeting after it. Ruslan decided he didn't want to come to the meeting after my question him. So today we have Adil who actually helped us with being timer. A very important role, ladies and gentlemen. Adil, please present the role to the people.
I'm a guardian of time management today, and the main role is to show you the time frame of your performance of your speeches. And I've got 3 signals for that purpose. The first one is green light. If I show you the green light, you're in a good manner. You have all the time in the world, and please continue your speech. When I show you the, let's call it yellow, it means you've got 30 seconds before the end. And when I show you the red light, please wrap up and stop your performance. And at the end of the meeting, I will return with my brief report, and we together make a conclusion. Thank you.
Not only will we give you the stage, so you can practice delivering speeches, practice making people listen to you, but we also control how you do it. We control how clean your speech is, and we control how correct grammatically your speech is. The accountant today, the person who will be watching your parasitic words, is Maria Kalugina. And Maria is a great lady, because she answered me. And she was the first one to answer me. I asked her what she thought about friendship. Firstly, everybody likes Maria because she has friends. And then secondly, I personally loved her answer. The answer was something like, friendship is a long-term relationship between people when both of them have something valuable from the relationship. Am I correct?
Yes.
Hey, please welcome Maria.
Dear fellows, Toastmasters and guests, I'm glad to see all of us. My name is Maria, and today I'm your accountant. I'm going to listen you carefully, attentively very much, and will count and note some appropriate and weird words like no, but, well, and some appropriate sounds, There can be annoying to listener, and if you forgot some information, some words, I suggest you just take a pause, focus, and continue. At the end of our meeting, I will present my report. Good luck.
I guess few people love strict teachers and strict people. Grammar Nazi. Nobody loves grammar Nazi, right? You are talking to the person, he's like, no, you pronounce it incorrectly, not звонить, not звонить, not позвонить, not звонить, right?
I am a
Right,
grammar
nobody
Nazi.
loves you then. Wait a second. But our grammarian today has friends. And I asked Dmitry what he thought about friendship. And he said that he thought that there are 3 ingredients: trust, common values, and accepting your friend without judging him or her. And that's what makes for friendship. Please welcome Dmitry, and he will tell you about his role today.
Thank you, Dean. Dear members and guests, welcome to Toastbusters Meeting. Nobody can be so far away from grammar Nazi as me. It's myself, because I was studying German, Dutch language in the school, and this role will be very challenging for me actually, due to the today topic. First of all, friendship in the German language is pronounced as Freundship, and it's my common mistake actually in pronunciation. So I will be doing my best and listening all the speeches very carefully to help and find something to help you to be more correct and more specific and more I don't know, in your even better in your language. And I will serve also as a word master for today's meeting, and I present you the word of the day is amity. Does anybody know what does it mean? Actually, it's synonym for friendship. It usually being used to the countries. Like it's when two nations are on good terms, it's not enough to say they have friendly relationship because they don't have small talks or coffees and they don't have sleepovers or something. So it is not a friendship as it is actually. And in this case, we are saying that these two nations or two countries are in amity. Also, it can be said about the people. For example, being seated on a Toastbusters meeting, me surrounded by friends felt being in amity. So it's kind of good word for today evening, and I hope everybody today will feel this feeling of amity. Thank you.
You know what I think Dmitry did? He didn't know what word he wanted to use, so he chose some German word and presented us today. Nobody knows the word. I'm just joking. The main part of the meeting is or are or is the speeches. And we have two speakers today. The first speaker, Ivan, will be presenting his speech shortly. And I asked Ivan as well what he thought about friendship. And I love your answer. It was pretty romantic. You naturally probably expect more romantic answers from ladies, but his answer, I love his answer. Because Ivan thinks that friends supposed to help and support you any time of the day or night, whatever. You call him or her and he goes and helps you. But what do you have to do to maintain the friendship? Yeah, nothing special. You just stay in touch and support each other, and that's it. Great. And he has 3 friends. A really lucky person. Please welcome Ivan with his speech, Nigerian Prince or Psychology of Scam.
Well, when I thought what topic to choose for my first speech, I really couldn't choose any, but fortunately last Friday I got an email and it looked like it was sent from my own email, and it started with a sentence: "Hi, as you can see, we hacked your email account. So we recommend you to change your password immediately." It sounds really not as usual email. And next, it was even worse. Shortly, it said, "Well, we grabbed all your emails and also we connected to your webcam and have been recording your video and audio for the last month. You have 48 hours to transfer money to our Bitcoin wallet, or we will publish all your emails and video, and also we'll send it to all your contacts." So it was an email blackmail. And this is a topic what I want to cover today. It is the psychology of scam and the psychology of victims who usually could be hooked by this scam. So the scam is a common term for email fraud, which designed to cheat you and got your money or your credit card number. And actually there are a bunch of types of such letters, but the most of them have similar techniques, and they use similar psychology tricks, which I want to show today. And first I want to ask you, have somebody ever got an email from Nigerian prince?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great, because in fact,
A lot of them.
in fact, this is the oldest scam email, and first case was registered in 1996. And these days there are huge of jokes and internet memes about this, about Nigerian prince. But these days actually it's hard to imagine that someone who receives this letter would believe this creepy story and send money. But I watched the statistics, and it said that it still works, and hundreds of scammers use this tactic, these Nigerian letters. This letter is quite simple. You receive a letter which says you that, hi, I'm a Nigerian prince or a wealthy businessman, and they ask you to help him for laundering his money or for transfer his money to your bank account, and usually it's some huge sum of like $50 million, and only thing you should do is to send them $1,000 to cover costs, but they say that they will give you 30% of the deal, so about $5 million. And of course, if you send this 1,000, you'll never see it again. But it still works because it has some really brilliant targeting strategy. So first feature of such letters is targeting. How it works? Well, if the story would be smart and many people will believe it, actually it would be impossible to work all those responses from people, and at the same time on next stages and next steps these people would understand what happened and never respond. But with this silly story they have much less responses, but their quality is much higher, and the probability that people who believe this story will be victims is really high. So it works like self-selection. Silly story creates really great effectiveness. Second feature is that you pay real low cost to get a big profit. And as in Nigerian prince letters, there are also very popular lottery letters. When you get an email which says that congratulations, you win our lottery, and just to get your prize of $300,000, just pay commission about only $100 and get your prize. So comparably, $100 is really low, and many people just pay it and lose their money. Third common feature is fear, and first of all, it is fear of missing out on an opportunity. to get this money. And people can think that, okay, what if I really won this lottery? Or what is this guy really wealthy businessman or prince? And the most important feature, what do you think what it is? What almost all letters use and all scammers use in their tactics?
Time limits.
Yeah, great. Time limits. They don't want you to think or to check the information on Google or something like that. They just want you to be in a hurry and make quick decisions. And usually they give you a few hours to do your things. So actually, all these features work not only for email, they work only for telephone scam and also for sales. So if you notice some things from these bullet points, there is a high probability that you will be cheated. So be careful. Thank you.
I don't know about you, but when I was listening to Ivan, I actually grew interested. Oh, it's a nice way to earn money. A lot of money here. You write a single email, you send a lot of people, not too difficult. You can earn great thing. I think Toastmasters should use it. Adil,
Yeah.
you send letters. You sign up for a role. We hooked up to your computer, and we've been recording the video of you. If you're not coming to the meeting, if you're not reporting to us that you're not coming to the meeting, we publish your videos, internet.
Sounds good.
It's great. Everybody will be coming here. Everybody informing us.
It's legally no.
In Russia, it's okay. In Russia. The next speaker, Irina. Wait a second. Wait a second. Hey. Okay, Irina. Sit.
Dear Toastbusters and guests, the title of my project, Laws of Murphy. Some of them can hear about these laws. I retell only two of them. The first, the most famous, is a bread and butter falls on the butter side. I think that everybody knew this law. The second is something can never take place. It will happen obligatorily. And I try to prove justice of these laws with help of my stories. The first story took place in Paul right away after crossing Polish border in a Polish restaurant. I didn't speak Polish, but our guide could do it. And I asked her to find out if the dish which I choose had black pepper or not. discussion between a cook and our guide. The answer was not. The first piece of this dish burned my sore throat. The second story was in a hotel near Rome. We had to stay there several nights, and one morning we asked to cook for us a real Italian pizza. The whole day we dreamt about the pizza which must be better than from Moscow restaurant. In the evening we saw a lot of little bowls full of cut sausage, cheese, tomatoes, and so on, and pancakes separately. Oh, my margarine with tomatoes from Moscow restaurant. The third story was in South Germany, in Asian town, which was very, very old, maybe 4, maybe 5 century. But as usual in these towns, every house was a shop or a cafe. Our group went to a restaurant for 40 euros. It was very expensive for me, and I went to find something cheaper. All cafes had meat dishes, but the price was about 24. But you see, 2 days before, at the center of Brussels, I had the same dish for 12. Do you remember a famous miniature about crabs? Yesterday, crabs cost 5 rubles. They were big. Today, crabs cost 3 rubles, but they're so small. Yesterday, they were so big for 5 rubles. You can continue. But the pocket of the teller was empty. I was at the same situation. That's why I decided to find a fish dish. Maybe it would be cheaper. At last cafe, I saw a big announcement. Fish and potatoes, 11 euros. I was warned by a waiter that the fish is Norway fish. But for me it was the same, because I like any fish, fried, stewed, boiled. The fish was brought on so big plate, covered by white cream.
The meeting by paying 100 rubles to the box. And please enjoy a break. We'll have you in 5 to 10 minutes.
But then I was saying, that strategy of the pretending I am at a high level did not help. So what I can do else actually to break the ice. And you know what? Maybe you are here in Toastmaster, you are great learnings and you take experience from your life and you have more than one strategy. But for me it happened as only one single strategy. So that's why I'm leaving this stage with an open answer. So if you have the best friend who is on a super top level and thinks she is there and you are there, what other strategies what you employ to establish the peer-to-peer relationships? Vadim?
Great. Thank you very much. And where is our timer? What about our timer? Yeah. I mean, was it okay?
It's okay.
Okay. So, the next one. Who would like to be the next? Please. What's your name again? Yuri.
Immanuel Kant, the philosopher. So I'm supposed to be his best friend?
Yes. Do you remember maybe a famous piece, Master and Margarita? So pretend
Yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah. So do you
Okay.
remember about the breakfast you've come for?
Okay.
Maybe for example. So.
Okay, so guys, once I had breakfast with Immanuel Kant. Well, let's assume that day was January 3, 1983. I was a 9-year-old boy at that time, and I had breakfast with Immanuel Kant. And I was very much, I was so much admired with his talent. So, and I was looking at his stupid-looking face, and I was immensely admired with his talent and his, what is English for обаяние? I'm sorry, I'm stupid. What's
Charm.
English for charm? Yes, and his charm. Well, so that was the happiest day of my life so far.
Okay.
What that?
Yes. Thank you very much. Yeah, actually, it's great to have a friend who is, much more experienced and can always share you the new thoughts. So, who would like to be the next? Other newcomers?
I can.
Yeah. Oh, please.
Thank you. I have to choose one.
Yes.
Are the country special agent? I don't understand what
Yes.
to do. Country,
Is it possible for you to somehow, maybe you had a friend, maybe in childhood?
with special agent.
Yes, and one time you discovered that he is actually the special agent of other country.
The spy.
Yeah, the spy. So,
I think
how do you feel about to have a friend, a spy, and one time he come to you and possibly ask you to share some sensitive information?
maybe I think it could be the kind of false friendship. It's imagined friendship, because the special agent usually has 2 or 3 buttons. But I think, but if we call the friendship, if we call friend the person who can doing something for us without pay, yes, we can call such person as a special agent, as our friend, maybe. But I can't imagine it in my life. I think if I know somebody, they don't call me about this. I don't know how it would be funny. I don't know. A few weeks ago, I came to Rudamino Library for speaking with native speakers. And to meeting came the lady, the woman, who, as she says, he works as an editor in some newspaper or maybe journal. And I asked her, first of all, as usual, what is your occupation? And he asked me, answered me that she is a spy. After the meeting, she asked me my email. I give her my email, I take hers, and send her some short stories and ask her to correct my grammar mistakes. She did it one time, and when I sent two email after, she didn't answer. It's one special agent which I could remember now.
Okay, okay. Yep, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So really, the real friend will not ask you to do anything that it's not good for you, actually. So the next one, who would like to, please?
Yeah, why are you not clapping for Christina? Why?
So remember, you have 30 seconds to think, and then 2 minutes to give your speech.
Okay.
Okay. Can you imagine that your friend is president?
President of Russia, of America,
I'm
of which
intentionally-
country?
Yeah, I'm intentionally
Of
didn't
our
put
country.
the name or a name of a president or a concrete country. So it's your imagination.
So I'm
Which
just
country?
a friend of any president, right? I mean, I can choose, but
Yes, you can choose.
I can tell everybody that I'm a friend of, for example, Mr. Putin. Right?
Yeah. It's great.
And I can say anything or speaking about our friendship, about how we met, or something like that.
Oh, if you're a friend of Mr. Putin, I think it's everybody would like to know how do you feel about it. You know, do you meet him often, or maybe it's only a pen friendship, or so?
Is he a good friend?
Yeah, is he a good friend, and what do you do together, and what things are you usually talk about, something like that?
Okay, can I start?
Yeah, of course.
You know, my friend is our president, Mr. Putin. But I met him not directly, you know. Once I was in Altai, and I met a girl. She seemed, you know, somewhere I saw her. It was Alina Kabayeva. I didn't realize it at the same at the first minute, you know, but from time I understood that, and I really wanted to speak with her, to ask questions, etc. And you know, it was far away from city, and it was so good atmosphere. There was, you know, like 5 people around in the forest. We were relaxing, and word by word we were speaking, and from after a couple of hours we heard a sound of helicopter, and it was our president, and it was such a surprise. And first time, the first seconds we were shocked, but then he was, you know, so so charming, so speakable, so nice that we just fell in love in him. Everyone, even men.
and he was telling different stories. We didn't know it was true stories or not, but we were listening to him and admired him and his stories. For that time, for that meeting, we started to speak by mobile phone, by WhatsApp with Kabaeva, and sometimes we are speaking together, you know, me, I, Kabaeva, and Mr. Putin by phone, and but it's rarely, you know, because our president is very busy, so it's rarely, but sometimes I had such chance. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's a really outstanding story.
I think it's true.
Huh?
I think it's true.
Okay, who will be the next? There is no card with a Putin or a president, but there are some interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Jane, what's your name?
Yulia.
Yulia. Okay.
You're kidding
Okay.
me. You're kidding me, come on.
Okay. You can choose other if you would like to.
It's quite funny.
Okay.
I should be a friend of Vladimir Lenin. Yeah, I know how it feels like. When we all were younger, when he was younger, he was such a nice guy. And we know all the stories, you know, we all know the stories about how he studied. Like he made 3-year university course just in 1 year, studying at home. And he was like taking care of his health as well, and so on and so on. The thing that I can't imagine when exactly this guy became the Vladimir Lenin we know. So the main thing is the young guy, I really liked him, but later when he became kind of dictator, it became really ugly for me. So those changes are quite strange and challenging, but I remember the time when we were living in Vienna, in Austria. It was quite an interesting time because everyone was so young. Stalin, Lenin, Hitler, and some other very interesting persons were actually living like in the same area. And yes, we had a cup of tea a few times, and we had fun. We were talking about politics and how it should be done, and what's a better strategy, etc., etc. Somehow, everything had just changed in a minute. They all became such big enemies for each other. And somehow Lenin was the one who had changed his name. You guys, I guess you know that he was Ulyanov by his birth, and later he became Lenin. He had cut his hair, and he had wear very strange things to his head. And he came and had a speech on the tank, and so many very strange things happened to him. So I actually miss the times he was young. It was the thing that were happening around him, and the person that he was great, full of expectations, full of energy. So I believe that being young just most perfect thing in the world.
Thank you very much. Yes, Europe is a great place, but it's a home of different things, you know. It's not just about Disneyland and Paris, you know. It's also a home of such persons, historical persons. So, our time is over. Yep, I would like to.
Maybe one
Yeah,
more.
maybe
If we
one
have
more.
volunteers.
Okay. Newcomers, would you like
Newcomers
also
and
maybe
graduates.
to participate? Other newcomers?
Andrew, maybe you one.
Not newcomers? Would you like to? Or no? So please choose one.
A famous mafiosi.
Yep.
Okay. Well, the greatest things happens to us when we are young. So, 10 years ago, I went to Italy with my parents, and occasionally I was lost in the center of Rome. I really went to each other and asked, sir, do you know where my mom? But nobody couldn't understand me because I spoke Russian. And eventually I came in some cafe. It was a really strange cafe because there were really small count of people, and all of them were in dark suits, and they smoked cigars and talked about something in Italian. And I chose one guy, which I thought was the most smart, because the other guys was really like stupid. And I came to him and asked, "Hey sir, where's my mom?" And he took his cigar and he asked another guys something. I really didn't understand what he said, but they just jumped and went away from the cafe. And then this guy started to say something which I really didn't understand because he said in Italian, but then he said me in Russian that сынок. Я видел твоих родителей. Они просто ждут здесь вот рядом с кафе. Не говори им, что я говорил с тобой на русском. Никто не должен знать этого. Потому что эти парни думают, что я мафиози из Италии. And I just went out and met my mom. I was really happy. And I never met this guy after that, but I still think that we are friends. Thank you.
I believe it was most unexpected part of the table topic session. And by the way, I will add to your great speech about the scam. Just today I received a spam email it was about the forum, and the intention of this letter was to invite me to the forum. And actually the last line was like that. So please answer us yes, or send us a written denial on this letter with the signature of your general director. Okay, so thank you very much for participating, and please fill the papers and pass it to Nikolai. If newcomers also welcome to participate in voting. If you don't have a paper, please ask me, I will give you one.
Just name of the person who thinks is a winner of the table topic exercise. Who did the best? If you have, this is different one. This is the whole exercise. I think you whole meeting.
Anybody else? Do you need a paper?
You need to choose one from these 6 pages. Thank you.
And the table topic master was supposed to invite me to the stage, but he's not a friend of mine. What can you do about it? Things happen.
Again. It's my second fault.
We're close to the end of the meeting. You probably enjoyed the table topic session. Should have participated. The newcomers. Christina is almost the lover of Putin, so Toastmasters have a bright future if Christina stays with us. Well, Yulia drank coffee with Hitler, and he was a nice guy back when he was young. And we have Selokov mafiosi, so everything is fine. The general evaluator is the person who is a serious person, unlike me. He will come to the stage and he will help you evaluate the meeting on the whole and the speakers in specific. Today, the general evaluator is Sergei Balashov. Sorry, Sergei. And I asked him about friendship. And he had an interesting answer because he had a special kind of friends. Soulmates. There are friends, regular friends. A friend, you communicate with him, spend time with him, but a soulmate is a person who thinks exactly on the same wavelength as you do. Please welcome your soulmate for the rest of the evening, Sergei Balashov.
Thank you very much, Denise. Hello, friends. So we came to the final part of the meeting, the most interesting and the most important part, because what we will do here, we will get the feedback, how we performed on stage, what mistakes we made, and most importantly, on what we can improve in the future. So to help you grow, we'll get the team of evaluators, and I've got the team of experts who will give you feedback on speeches and other stuff. So without further ado, I'd like to proceed to the personal evaluators of the speakers who presented their speeches today. And first, personal evaluator who I'd like to invite here on stage will give a feedback on Ivan Samkov's speech. Welcome, Mikhail Pakutny.
Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, guest, Ivan. The public speakers, they do have a difficult job. And why I say that? Because when you come to the stage and you have the audience in front of you, you feel like you are staying in front of the strangers. And what is your job? Your job is that at the end of the speech is end up with audience is your friends. So to develop the friendship relationships with your audience. And as in real life, developing the friendship relationships takes time. And it is developing step by step. Let's review, Ivan, how did you develop the friendly relationships with your audience today with your one of the first projects at the beginning of your path as a public speaker. In my opinion, you started brilliantly. So what you did, you came to the stage and you started telling us the personal story. And not a story from the very old days or the story which is abstract, but when you're sitting in front of your computer and you were thinking about something, and at this moment myself, and I'm sure that the rest of the audience, they felt like together with you. And that means that they believe that you are the human, like them, like us. And secondly, they visualize the situation like everybody is sitting in front of the computer. That was very good connect. And I think it was very beautiful start. Then you ask the question about Nigerian prince. And the audience started reacting and you smiled. in return. And this is very important. So when you were smiling, you were on the second stage of developing your friendly relationships with your audience. Very well done. And the third thing is that I believe there was a value of your story. Why? Because the topic was known, at least by most of the people, and everybody once in a while received a scam. So which means that well done for the selection of the topic and getting some value back to the audience. So this was your first 3 steps in the developing the relationships with the audience today. So what could be your next step, which you could done slightly differently? And one of them is that, like somebody said, or somebody said today, explaining the friendship, is that when you, I think Maria did this, when your friends add you some value, and every speech has a value, and the audience was sitting and thinking, what would be the value? And they would like the speaker to be a little bit more predictable, like you also do with the friends. You don't want your friends to pop up and immediately disappear. And how do you put this into your speech? By introducing the structure. So in structure is a way to make your speech a little bit more predictable. And for your speech, you decided to go for the bullet point list of the 4 characteristics of the scam, which was very good choice in my view to inform the audience. And what you could do different is to explain it a little bit in ahead. So, for example, by saying, today I'm going to tell you 1, 2, 3, 4, and then at the end of my speech you will be able to determine what is scam and what is not scam. That will make you, yourself and your speech as a friend and more predictable. The second is that, I think this is what you said. So the friend is that if you call any moment, that day and night the person will respond. And the same with the speaker. So audience want you to be always with them. So your eye contact will demonstrate that, your appearance will demonstrate that. You decided to use some visual materials in the slides. And sometimes your audience, your attention was not with us, your attention were with the slides here. So that is why for your beginning step, I recommend you to start practicing speaking only without visual materials. And as you become mature as a speaker, then add your visual as your additional tools to engage the audience. To summarize, great start, a few steps to become the real great friend with the audience of us. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to see more speeches from you and become better friends with your topics.
Thank you very much, Michael. Great stuff. So it was a really nice example. So what I'm doing right now, I'm evaluating Michael's presentation because I'm a general evaluator. Well, so Michael did a brilliant thing. He used the topic of the meeting and weaved it nicely into his evaluation, and he built his evaluation upon this structure, so that maybe I think it will help Ivan to better remember the main points of Michael's evaluation. I hope actually that Ivan and the rest of us we didn't bog down into a lot of details, because when you used stories about friendship, like I myself needed to kind of hold my attention on your evaluation rather than the story. But I think you did it nicely. You didn't give much details about friendship, but you focused mostly on the Ivan's performance. So good job, Michael. So next personal evaluator who will give his feedback on Irina Chernaga's speech is Nikolai Denisenko. Welcome.
Thank you, Sergey, thank you. Dear friends, dear MET family of Toastbusters Club, dear Irina, thank you for your speech. Your speech actually was from the advanced manual of entertaining speaker, and the purpose of the title of the project was to make them laugh. Let me give you a feedback based on two parts. One is delivery, and second is content. In terms of delivery, I do see that you feel more comfortable from one speech to another speech, and now you are less nervous. And if previously I saw you had a pause and then
Guys, do you know the difference between jail and prison?
I know,
Do you know?
I don't know.
Nobody?
Other
I will tell you. As a jail is a place which we can be placed for not serious crimes. For example, you was overdrunk. Usually people got to jail for short period of time. But prison, it's a hard to reach place for serious crimes. For example, robbing bank, murdering, kidnapping, and for long period, for a period of time, for example, whole life. And today I will announce some speakers who goes to prison with a lot of mistakes for the lot of mistakes. It will be Christina, 27 appropriate words. Sergey, which is participate in table topic 18 mistakes. Timur, he had 11 mistakes, but we have some speakers who go to jail with few mistakes. For example, Nikolai Denisenko, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mistakes. Ivan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mistakes. And that's enough. Also, we have some brilliant persons who gave us brilliant speeches, brilliant clear speeches. They are Mikhail Pakutny, Adil Tashenov, Denis Shevchuk. They have no mistakes. That's all.
Thank you so much, Maria. I like it's a nice way of presenting your role. However, I'd like to suggest you that people would like to hear that there are specific sounds which they can work on. For example, I usually say I have some specific sounds. Other people have different sounds. So maybe later, after the meeting, if you're interested, approach Maria and she will tell you what kind of specific sounds you have, which you can work on later.
Or also report.
Yes. So, but you've done a brilliant job. You wrote down everything. Fantastic. Okay. The next expert who I'd like to invite here on stage is grammarian Dmitry Kotov. Welcome.
Oh, I didn't get to jail, so the main trick, as I understand here, it's keep silent, just to the counter report, so then you will be free. Only second time on this Toastbusters meeting, on Toastmasters meetings, and also I quite surprised how professional are speakers here. So most of you are quite good in the English language. So I couldn't find any mistakes of you. So what I did find and what I did here, I will present now. First of all, thank you, Nikolai, for using word of the day for one time. It was the only time today, and you are the winner here. Also, I liked use grammar Nazi example from Sergey, I think, from Denis. I think he left, yeah?
Sure.
Okay. And I also noticed few mispronunciations, missed articles, etc. So I'll briefly read through my notes without mentioning names or something. few times there was a long word, but I think it's kind of variant of all, and or some word which couldn't be said in the way to such a way, but also pronunciation case pause. I think it should be pause. Also, it was surprise. I think it should be surprise. I also noticed it was what said like woman. It should be a woman or few women, but not a woman, I think. Also, it was word false. I think it's more false. Also, there was a sentence like proof justice of my story. At least it should be proof of justice, and I'm not sure that justice could be related to a story. Also, there was a construction like couldn't to asleep. I think couldn't to fall asleep at least. The word missed, and also few other small mistakes and missed articles. So thank you. Have a nice evening.
Shake my hand, please. Yeah,
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, you're close. You can improve it. So thank you very much for your job. I like. So you did it nicely. You gave all the corrections which you thought worth mentioning. However, I'd like to say that I think you missed one occasion when Irina said the word of the day. Am I right? You said that? I think you said it in a speech.
No.
Okay, but I thought she said anyway. Good. And I also like to. So I'd like to also tell you that when you're an expert, when you're doing, for example, grammarian's job, you shouldn't say, I think, well, maybe. You're an expert, so you give directions. This is like this should be that, you should say that because this is correct. Later, people might correct you in a private conversation, but when you're an expert, like, you should behave as an expert. Besides, good job. And last, but not least, expert of the day, Taima Adil Tashagov, welcome.
So, to make the long story short, everybody's doing great in time management, except personal evaluator and grammarian. But I think for those roles, it's not so crucial because it's more important to give very valuable and good feedback for the speakers. And except for that roles, time frame it's not so, I think, important if you are not so valuable for the speakers. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Adil, for your brief report. So let me to say a couple of words about the meeting as a whole, and especially about the organizational part. Is the so the question to the cameraman: is the camera on?
Yes.
Okay, good. So because most of the members of the executive committee are present today, so I hope that they will see the video of my report. So guys, so probably you know that the club have received a new executive committee, a newly elected executive committee, which is in charge of the club for the rest of the year. And I like that the club is going modern. They improved on the newsletter. They improved on the website. However, I'd like to mention a couple of things which you can work on, because I've been visiting the club for about 2 years, and I hope that during this time the club would improve on things how they what kind of atmosphere they bring to the meetings. Because today I was lacking a little bit of communication with newcomers, you know, with the whole atmosphere which gives the people idea that there is an executive committee which is in charge of the whole club, of the whole meeting, so the meeting might feel solid, you know. So yeah, so today was a little bit offhand. I'd like to suggest you guys, if some people of the important people from the executive committee can't be present at the meeting, it is very good practice to delegate some rules to the members of the club. For example, you got like Irina, who is the president. You could delegate. You can find a member who can invite, who can meet newcomers, who can talk to them, explain a little bit more about the club. You also might have found a person who can organize paperwork and help out Adil, who was, I think, alone, you know, from the executive committee, which was put additional pressure on him. So by these minor things, you can improve the whole meeting and the whole perception of the club by the newcomers. So, and I also like to suggest personally to Adil that when you happen to open the meeting, please bring more energy to your when you're addressing the audience. Like explain a little bit more about the club, because some people are new here and they might not have a clear idea what is happening here. So explain more about the club, its mission, its kind of structure, that there is an executive committee, and then politely, you do it politely, invite newcomers to the meeting. I suggest you do that in a more less direct way. Come to stage. It was a little bit intimidating, you know. You're a huge guy, and I can't, you know, it's difficult to resist. So be more gentle. Yes. Okay. I think. But overall, I like the meeting. I like that we have many people. The meeting was lively and educational in a way. So thank you guys. Thank you, the executive committee, for giving me the opportunity to be the general evaluator today. So, and now I'd like to pass the stage to Adil, who will close the meeting. Welcome.
Thank you, Sergey. It was well done, good job. It's time to wrap up. We come here not to compete, we come here to be a better person than we were yesterday. And I hope that you become much more better than you were the person who came to this meeting before. So thank you, and hope to see you in 2 weeks' time, exactly at this place. Thank you. Table topic winner.
Yes.
Oh, let me introduce. And the table topic winner of today table topic contest, Ivan Salkov.